can't count how many times people say to me, I have a weight problem because I love food. And they say it almost in that tone, and maybe I'm a little sensitive, but kind of like, oh, you're of normal weight, so therefore you must not love food. And that isn't true. I love food. In fact, I eat chocolate every single day, every single day. So how do people who love food manage their weight? Probably a couple different ways. I'm guessing they do a lot more aerobic activity. They find something that they really love that's fun to do, and so they burn more calories. The more calories you burn, the more you can eat. I like that idea. Secondly, I'm guessing they spend a little bit more time doing resistance activities, the ones that build up muscle, because the more muscle mass you've got, the more calories you burn 24/7. A good base to boost up your metabolism. Thirdly, they've probably started some of those rituals that we talked about in the video that we talked about willpower, about some ways to manage food around them. And here's another idea for you. I want us to start being a little bit more selective about the foods that we love. I know we say that we love all foods, but let me give you an analogy. Do any of you make so much money that you can buy everything that you want? Right. Highly unlikely, right? So we have to look at our money and say, where should I be spending the money? We look at the price tag and we ask ourselves, is it worth it? Some of us spend it on our houses, some of us spend it on cars, some on vacations and clothing. I mean, there's no one right answer. We buy the things that are most important to us. What if we were to start looking at food in the same way? Looking at the calorie tag and saying, is it worth that or not? So I talk about eating your pleasers, skipping your teasers. What this means is being a little bit more discerning about the foods you eat, your pleasers, your absolute favorites. Once you give yourself permission to have those, it's a lot easier to avoid those foods that are around that aren't quite as good. So, for example, I love ice cream. But my very favorite is chocolate chip ice cream from Friendly's, and not in the half-gallon containers. It has to be from the takeout window. It just tastes a whole lot better. I love French fries. Eat them probably once a week, but you know what? They have to be crunchy. They have to be hot. If they're soggy, if they're cold, if they're overly crispy, I don't want to have anything to do with them, because I'm not going to waste my calories on those, because I deserve the very best. So I want you to start thinking about what your pleasers are. I know, get away from it's everything. I love all kinds of food. Start with some categories. Are they the sweets, salty, crunchy, fried foods, liquid calories? And then narrow it down even more about your absolute favorites. Whenever I do this with a client, they can narrow it down if they work hard enough. So find out what those foods are. Give yourself permission to eat those pleasers. And it'll be a lot easier to avoid those other foods that just happen to be around that aren't quite up to your quality. So until tomorrow, this is Dr. Jo reminding you to eat your pleasers, skip your teasers.